My mother-in-law tries to set me up for a crime. And we're not talking a little misdemeanor. We're talking a deep, deep felony that could land me in prison for multiple years. But I'm not going to let her just get away with this. So I decide to confront my mother-in-law by telling her this. How would you react if a family member betrayed you, trust, and sabotaged your whole career? If they framed you for a crime, they did, and I'm not sure how anyone else would react to such a situation, but I'm losing it. My whole career is at stake, and all because of my mother-in-law. Forget my career. I could end up in prison for her felonies. I don't know what I'm supposed to do or even how to save myself, and I guess I'm just going to write this here. Hey, I'm Chloe, 26, and I just realized a while ago that my mother-in-law Sophia is such a big cheat. Okay, so let me get into some details. I'm an accountant at an important import-export firm that's been handling by my husband's family for the last 8 years. His father started the firm 8 years ago, but after his untimely death, about 4 years ago, the shares of the firm were divided between David, his stepmother, and Sophia, and his stepbrother James, with David being the holder of 50% of the shares while the other two hold 25% each. Some might call this partial or prejudice, but I believe David rightfully deserves the larger share as he's been working hard for this firm since the time he completed college, while Sophia and James just started working only after David's father passed away. I believe that's why David's father divided the firm in this manner, and though the shares are different, all three of them are on board of the directors and can exercise the same kind of power over the firm's functions. That's how I met David. I was hired as the accountant in the family firm 3 years ago, and with a workplace romance gone, right? Me and David got married last year. It's been good, and his family was very welcoming towards me, especially Sophia. It never seemed like Sophia was David's stepmother, as she treats both David and James the same. That's why, when I came into the family, she treated me with all the affection of a mother, or it seemed like that until now. I'd say that the only reason I could never even dream that Sophia could betray my trust like this was because of how she's treated me all the while I was dating David, and even after the marriage, too. She was always loving, but I did not know she was even capable of something like this. This is what shook me the most, and I'm still trying to process what happened, but it did, and now my whole career is at stake. I've been observed for a month that some out-of-place transfers and withdrawals were made from the company's other accounts to an anonymous account. And well, I ignored it at first, but when the withdrawals started getting frequent and the sum of money being transferred increased with every single transfer, well, I did get a bit suspicious. I did not know who owned that anonymous account, and I wanted to look into the matter, but Sophia had assigned me so many other tasks that I could not deeply analyze the transfers being made or their purposes. I just wish that I had looked into the matter then and there. Maybe I would not find myself in the situation that I'm in today. As the transfers continued and became more frequent, I decided to confide in my husband about them a week ago, and hoping that he might know something about them. But David just brushed it off and told me not to think much of it, and that it must just be for work purposes, so I left it at that and continued with the pile of files on my desk. But what happened next absolutely shocked me. So 2 days ago, when I noticed a huge amount of money being transferred to the same anonymous account, I tried to find out who was receiving this money, and I did some research and finally got to the real identity of the account holder. And can you guess whose account it was? Yeah, my dear mother-in-law. I could not understand why she would just need to have an anonymous account and transfer money into it, which was such a large amount of money, when she had her own company account, and what did she need so much money for? It could surely not be for business purposes. All those payments were being made from the firm's own separate account, and none of it made any sense to me, so I decided to confront her about it. Well, when I went to talk to her about, the anonymous accounts and whatnot, first she just tried to absolutely play dumb, saying nothing of this sort had come to her attention and that I was the first person to mention this to her. But I was not ready to let her off the hook this easily, so I pressed her until she had no option but to agree that the account was hers. When I asked her why she needed an anonymous account with so much money in it, her tone suddenly changed, and I've never seen this side of Sophia. She just rudely told me to mind my own freaking business and said, and I quote, "Know your place. You're just an employee. Don't think you can question the owner of the company." Well, I was stunned by such harsh words from the woman who treated me like her daughter until the day before. I knew something was fishy. Otherwise, David would have known about his mother holding another account in the company, and if he had known that, then he would have told me the first time I asked him about the anonymous account. So I asked Sophia if David and James knew about this other account, and it just seemed to hit the wrong nerve as all of a sudden her face reflected anger. But at the same time, she looked worried. This time she responded with a more authoritative tone, saying that if this news leaves her office, she will make sure that both me and my career will be irreparably destroyed. I could not understand anything. What had gotten into Sophia? Was she the woman I've known for the last 3 years? But I was not going to let her scare me into keeping my mouth shut, so I told her that I would be telling about this to both David and James, as it is their company too, and they deserve to know what's going on in their company, and this left Sophia absolutely speechless, and I left her office right away. All of this happened yesterday. And boy, did Sophia keep her word. This morning, when I went to the office, they refused to let me in, and I was greeted by a police officer who asked me to come to the police station with him as a report had been filed against me for committing a huge fraud in my husband's company. Well, I was confused about what was happening, so I called up David, and he gave me an account of what exactly happened. Although David did not seem to know who the person responsible for the mess was, I knew very well. Only Sophia could pull this off, and would you believe what Sophia did? Using her authority and power over the company, she manipulated the accounts and made it look like I was the holder of the anonymous account, and all this time had been stealing large sums of money from the company. I never thought this was how Sophia would betray my trust. Was this her way of repaying me for all the efforts I put into the company's profits? I am on my way to the police station right now, and I don't know what other things Sophia's framed me for. David asked me just to come straight to them after the police station. He could not come with me to the cop station. He told me he would figure it out, but I'm very worried. This could end my whole career and scar my reputation for life, and I simply don't know what to do or how to save my career from falling apart right in front of my eyes. Comment number 1 from the original post. Oh my gosh, that's really messed up. Your mother-in-law put you into this? I can't believe people would go to such extents to ruin someone's life just to hush them up about their own crimes. Sophia deserves to be put in jail, and the report should be against her, not you, and I think you should have recorded her when you went to confront her. That would have solved the problem at once, but nothing can be done about that now. I do hope that you can stay out of this trouble, and she's put you in some bad mess, and stay strong, girl. Comment number 2. I can't believe it. I don't know why girls these days just believe their mother-in-law like that. To be an evil character from a movie or something before even knowing their side. Even my daughter-in-law treated me so harshly, like I was some monster. You could conclude that it must be your mother who's responsible for this. Do you have any proof of that? No, but you want to make assumptions beforehand. And about the money, she's a successful businesswoman. She knows what she's doing, so if she has told you to keep out of her way, then that's what you should do. Update number 1. Guys, I have waited a week since my last visit to the police station to update you guys, and you cannot imagine how bad it's been for me. Things have been so messed up. Let me tell you about it. The police are actually questioning me constantly and at random times of the day. And the interrogation goes on for hours, and I even had to spend a night at the police station due to the insistent interrogation. It's crazy. They've restricted me from leaving the city or even entering my office, and I'm not even allowed to be near my workplace. And the worst part of it is, the report was not filed by Sophia. It was made by an employee of the company. I'm sure Sophia's getting the work done by the employees without getting her hands dirty so that she can stay as far away from possible from all this, and it gets difficult for me to drag her down into it. Well, due to this, no one but David believes that I'm innocent, and that's the only relief in this chaotic situation. To have my husband's support, and it was even harder to convince David that his mother was the one who's framed me in this whole situation. He also did not believe me at first, but because I've already inquired about the anonymous accounts with him, he did believe I was telling the truth about that part, or else I would have kept the account a secret from David if I have been the one after the money myself. Things have been hard at home too. Yeah, really hard. Sophia has put on this facade and tries to act all hostile towards me. When we're with everyone, she'll tell me that she's ashamed of me, but in their family, they just stand for each other. So she still supports me even when I'm the one on the wrong side of the table. I don't know how or why she's such a good actor, because if she ever gets caught my eye when David was not around, she never failed to tell me that she had warned me before and I was the one who landed in this mess by not obeying her. She also said that she did not have any personal grudges against me. She rather liked me, but just the fact that I should have kept my nose out of places where it did not belong was all I had to do. But as I made it clear that I'm not the quote collaborative type, this was bound to happen. Like, really? That's how entitled she is. If someone does not work according to her, she's going to try to ruin their damn life? And it's crazy that she told me that she's supporting me or standing by my side in front of David, but she is the one who has sued me for a case of embezzlement. The lawsuit will soon be going to court, with Sophia being my opponent and me trying to prove my innocence. It's so messed up that you have to prove you have done nothing while the person responsible goes on accusing you. Now, even David can see through her double standards and has turned against her, and she even berated David, saying that if he had been his real son, he never would have gone against her. He would have supported her like James. Well, this hurt David a lot, but I was relieved that Sophia's real face was finally exposed in front of, well, at least David. Now all I need to do is show the world what a hypocrite she is. On the other hand, James had been downright angry with me. He keeps telling me that the three of them trusted me and let me into their family business, but all I did was take undue advantage of that trust. He also tells David that he should divorce me because he does not want to see betrayers around the house. I'm just trying to find ways by which I can prove my innocence, but with me not being allowed inside the office or accessing anything related to work, and with my laptop and work cell phone confiscated, things have been harder for me than they really already were. And now I know how clever Sophia is. She must have tried very hard to sweep all of the evidence in the accounts, well, was hers, under the rug. And with me not being able to access anything, it's becoming impossible. And yes, some of you said that I should have recorded her when I went to confront her. But I was not expecting her to flip and be this entirely different person, an evil witch to be precise. As I told you guys, that was the first time I'd seen this dark side of Sophia. So I was not even expecting her to be rude towards me at all, or anything like that. If I had known that this is what she would be up to, I would have been prepared and simply would have had a plan to expose her. But it was evident my guard was off because I thought that she was my family. And according to me, your family is your savior, but in my case it's the opposite. My family's what I need to be saved from. And for the one saying I was the one who was being too harsh by assuming that Sophia was the one who framed me, what do you guys have to say now that it's evident that she's the sole reason why I'm in this situation? And what's she doing with the money that she has to hide from her sons? And, well, who also happens to be, quote, successful businessmen? We'll soon figure it out, and I'm going to make her pay for what she did to me. Right now, I'm just struggling to do anything. I'm just trying to collect some evidence and any proof that will expose the real face of Sophia. It's getting harder and tougher day by day, but I'm not ready to give up just yet. I will not let someone, let alone an evil witch like Sophia, dump her crimes on me and expect me to just take it silently. I'm not somebody she can mess with and come out of it unharmed. If this is what Sophia wants to take me down, then I'm going to take her down with me. Update number 2. Hey guys, I know it's been a month since I last wrote you, but so much has been happening in my life. The case for fraudulence has been admitted to court, but it was not looking good for me at first. Sophia had done a very good job manipulating all the evidence, and my not having access to the office was just making things a lot worse. Well, right now, she thinks she's winning, but little does she know I have finally found something that'll turn the tables, and the ball will be in my court. I finally found a way to gather some evidence, and as I can't go to the office myself, I've had some people help me look into the case. Obviously, my husband was helping me as we had some colleagues who believed in my innocence. Well, my husband being a powerful position was a big perk, as due to that, we could look into things that were restricted for common employees, and guess what? We've hit the jackpot. After weeks of trying to come across the fake evidence put forth by Sophia to frame me, we could finally track down the itinerary of the transfers made, and guess where they led us. I'll have to tell Sophia that she's been very clever the whole thing, but did she think no one would ever reach her? Yes, it took us some time to finally reach her because I had to guide my friends to carry out the things I already knew how to do, and that took them more time to do things that I could have done within seconds. But it was not yet too late to reach her, and I finally got to her. Sophia worked very hard in trying to make the transactions not traceable. But even the cleverest of thieves make mistakes, and Sophia did too. We found this one particularly large transaction that she made, which led us right to the evidence of the account was hers. It was the same transaction that led me to her in the first place. We traced the transaction and found the anonymous account linked to Sophia's credentials, which were needed at the time of making such a large transaction. If she had not been so greedy, and just transferred such a large amount in one single go, then we might have never gotten to her. But her greed walked her right down to us. I still don't understand why she wants all this money. What is she going to do with such money? She is already leading a pretty posh life. What else could she possibly want? And to make matters worse for her, I even got an eyewitness against her. So what happened was that I had a heated argument with Sophia yesterday where she shouted at me about how finally soon enough she would be able to get rid of me as I would be behind bars. And then she could carry out her plan without any interruptions. I did not clear up this pretty little misunderstanding of hers. I just let her thrive in her victory for just one more day. Out of curiosity, I still asked her why she needed this kind of money, for which she was ready to cheat her sons. She finalized her own prison cell number when she said that it was her company and her money and she could take as much as she wanted without informing lowly employees like me. I guess she's forgetting that there's 2 other shareholders in the company. Anyways, guess what? Somebody witnessed all this, and guess who it was? Wow. I'm trying my best to get that person to be a witness in my favor, but now, I don't know, let's see how my last blow will go in the final hearing tomorrow. Although I do have sufficient evidence to prove her guilty, Sophia's very clever. She might have something against it too, and all my problems will be solved if that person's ready to be a witness. And then the ball will definitely be in my court, but the only problem is, will that person want to be a witness for my side? Comment number 1. I can't believe, after everything she did, she'll still ready to fight you. I mean, how is she even facing you right now? I hope you can convince that witness, because who is the person anyways? Good luck, may you win the case, and kudos to you for standing up to her. Comment number 2. Look, I'm not defending her. I just believe that this might just be one-sided story. We don't even know what she needs the money for, so why are you so harshly judging her that it's all because of her greed? It might be that she's in some sort of trouble, which she might not want to share with her sons. I understand what she's doing's wrong, but you never know what somebody might be going through. Everyone has their own demons, you know? Update number 3. Hey guys, this will be my final update of the story. It's been 2 weeks since the court's final verdict, but I'm finally here to tell you what happened. Before starting, I would just like to say one thing to the people who were still defending Sophia. Maybe not everyone has their quote own demons to fight. Some might be demons themselves. You'll soon find out what kind of evil demon Sophia really is. The hearing, oh boy, it was intense. Sophia's lawyers kept on slamming more accusations directly on me about how I've been planning to take the whole company as well as their house. When Sophia was called to the witness box, she straight away called me a gold digger and said that this, quote, elaborate scheme was the reason why I joined the company in the first place. Well, I was calm all the time and she could just talk crap all she wanted because I was going to shut her up for good once and for all in a few moments. As Sophia's lawyer had no new pieces of evidence or witnesses to present the defense, who asked to present their case, we started cautiously, right, and provided the judge with the evidence which we've uncovered by tracing the accounts and demonstrating that Sophia herself, not I, was the account holder. Sophia was so mad at this and was desperately trying to deny the accusations, but she could not do anything about it, as all the bank details very clearly stated that the account was Sophia's. But the color of her face completely drained when she saw my final witness in the witness box. Guess who? That's right. Her own son, James. The funny fact is that 2 weeks ago when Sophia saw James outside the room when we were arguing and realized that James had overheard her confessing that the account was actually hers, she was so sure that by no chance in hell would James ever go against her. She told me, and I quote, "He's my son, my flesh and blood, not like your disloyal husband. How soon the tables have turned. We're standing here with her own flesh and blood going against her, witnessing in my favor." Well, let me put your minds at ease about how I convinced James to be my witness and go against his evil mother. It wasn't hard. When I went to talk to James, he was so disappointed with his mother. He apologized to me for how harsh he was to me this past month, and told me that he could not believe that his mother would cheat them like this, and then put the blame on me. Firstly, he was not ready to be the reason that his mother might end up in prison, but when I told him that if we did not bring the truth out, then I would be the one going to prison without any fault of my own, and she might continue to do this, he was finally thinking about witnessing for me. Even Sophia's, quote, blood son was confused about what she would need this type of money for, which she had to keep a secret from everyone, even her own sons. Well, we got to know the reason the next day. But with some more convincing, James was ready to be my witness and tell the court all he had heard about his mother confessing what she was up to. And when he finally told the court that his mother had actually been the one responsible for the whole embezzlement, his mother lost her calm. She'd start screaming at James, and that he was the one she was doing it for. Oops, in the heat of anger, Sophia seemed to have forgotten she was in a room full of people, including a judge who was soon going to sentence her to a long imprisonment. Wow. She finally confessed the reason why she did what she did, and the whole courtroom was absolutely stunned. Can you guess what reason she gave for stealing the firm's money? She said that she felt like the company was very unequally divided in such a manner that it only favored David, and she and James were not getting the profits they deserved for their hard work. She further added that it was not thievery, she was just taking the money she and her blood son rightfully deserved, so no one should have a problem with it, especially David, who had been eating up their share of the money for the last 4 years. In her spite, she shouted at me that if I had not interfered, she would have kicked both David and me out of the company and, quote, her house within no time. And all of this while, well, we had been thinking that she treated James and David the same. We could not be further from the truth. I could not believe this one. How can someone pretend to be someone she is not for so long? And did she not get tired of this whole fake goody two-shoes thing? But one person was even more disappointed than me. James. He told her that she said she did it all for him, but he was ashamed to even call her his mother. He added further that David will always be more of a brother to him than she could be a mother. I guess Sophia kinda deserved it. Finally, with this, she was shut down. She was not shouting anymore, and anyways, her shouting only made things worse for her. All of this was enough for the judge to make up his mind. For her misconduct in court, the judge further added 6 more months to her 7-year sentence of imprisonment, along with a hefty fine. So, My mother-in-law set me up for fraud she committed, but when she, got the court and got the verdict, she was the one who ended up in prison. We were finally free from her now. With her in prison, all of her shares in the company were revoked, and James and David felt that it would be more appropriate for me and finally just to be a board member and accept 20% share of the company, while both James and David had 40% shares each, so that they're equal. It was David's idea to equally divide the assets between two brothers, and James refused to accept the increase in his share, but eventually we convinced him into it. I'll still handle the accounts of the firm while also enjoying my new position of power. While for Sophia, with her foolishness and greed, she not only lost her share of the company, but also lost her son in the process. Well, you reap what you sow, right? So, it comes down to James. I can't help but even think to myself, and a lot of commenters were thinking this exact same thought. Say you were in James's position, right? If James never stepped forward to basically go against the stand of his own mother, would she have gotten away with it? So we're left with the one question. What would you do if you were in James' position and you know you have the juice to put your mother behind prison, but you might not want to do it? Let me know your thoughts down below. And also the second question, if you were in OP's very unique position, would you have gone about the same route or would you have done something a bit different? My name's Mr. Reddito. I narrate these sort of stories every single day. Let me know your thoughts about this one. And a quick little fact, guys. Only about 50% of the people who watch these videos are subscribed to the channel. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you want to see more videos. I'll see you guys tomorrow, and it's cool to be kind. See ya.